Good afternoon. I hope you're super well. A huge welcome to this afternoon's learning, all about how you can move from being burnt out to and really broken to building some magic and getting your dreams happening rather than sitting where you are. So huge welcome to you. My name is Kell Bell. If I haven't met you before, welcome to our community. Hey, Anne. This is really exciting for me to share a little bit about my journey. And if you haven't followed me before, I am a community family studies teacher, PDHPE teacher here in New South Wales. And I left the classroom back in July 2020, just after COVID. If you haven't heard my story before, my CAFS teachers have. The rest of my new community haven't, but I literally had a pain in my neck and had no idea what I was going to do. I spent the best part of 3 weeks on my lounge at home, trying to work out what I was going to actually do. So I feel very blessed to be able to share my journey around that. So it has been a little while, and now I've been able to build a business that I absolutely love. I have a very small niche here in New South Wales, Australia. About 1,200 teachers teach our course, our HSC course, which is our final exam for going to university, that type of thing. So I feel very blessed to be able to do what I do. But at that point, back in 2020, we all know what it was like, COVID, online spaces. I was working at a large senior school on the Central Coast here in New South Wales, and I was relieving head teacher. Then that position, I was moved from that position for lots of different reasons, mainly political things that happen within schools. I came into the school with all of my experience and expertise, and then I was only temporary at the time, and a new member was coming back to the school after being overseas. He came into my position after me building our faculty up, and then I pretty much got shafted from that leadership position. I then was doing some instructional leadership stuff with our school, so getting formative assessment up and running, quality teaching framework. If you're in New South Wales, you'd know what that looks like. Here in Australia, we have that framework in New South Wales to do some checks and stuff and give teachers feedback on what they're teaching. So I was running that at school. I was running our professional learning with another guy. And then we went online. And, you guys know what it was like when we were online. No matter where we were, where you are from all across the globe, it was an absolute crazy time. I know some of you have retired and didn't get to experience that, but trust me, it was probably the worst experience as an educator, because there was so much happening. If you had family at home, young kids, trying to juggle your load at home and then have your children, at home as well, trying to teach them was a bit of a struggle. And for me, I had five HSC classes. So I was trying to help support, five classes to then move into getting prepared for the HSC, all that sort of stuff. I had 3 Year 11s, 2 Year 12s. So it was really crazy. But then I was also supporting our faculty to build that up, to help them with their classes, and then to help the whole school get online. So part of my role, I kind of self-appointed myself in this role. I'm not sure about you, and if you've done this before, let me know, because I think sometimes as educators, we do put our hands up for things that we probably shouldn't put our hands up for, because our bucket's full anyway. And when it starts to, spill over the sides, and we start to kind of find that we're not keeping up with everything, the demands of, family life and home, and our leaders and our classes, our own children, and then every other responsibility on top of that, it does put a lot of pressure on us. So for me, I had 5 HSC classes. I had the faculty to help. I also had our school to help with professional learning. And then I decided to help our school get us online during COVID. So I was scraping together every professional learning opportunity for them. I was, DIYing stuff. I was helping them one-on-one in my class, on Zoom, on the phone. It was madness, absolute madness. And I know that many of you guys who have joined us in this new community as an educator to entrepreneur, that you may be experiencing, that you may have experienced the same thing, that was very stressful at that time. So that was what was happening. Obviously, COVID happened. And then we kind of went back to school in about May 2020. And coming back to school, I felt like I didn't have a break, obviously, because COVID was quite crazy with our own children at home, trying to teach them. They were in year 4 in kindergarten at the time. Gosh, it feels like forever ago, or year 1 maybe. Anyway, so helping our girls at home and also having these HSC classes, the faculty, the school, it was no wonder that when I went back to school, I was feeling the pinch, literally in the form of in my neck, a literal pinch in my neck. The colleagues that I was working with weren't very supportive of me either. I was very giving of my time, and if you're an educator, we're givers, aren't we? We work really hard to support people, to to give our love of education. So that was happening for me, and the support, I really wasn't receiving much support from my school leadership, obviously from the top. Some of the deputies were amazing, but the leaders that I had at the time weren't supportive. So I was working in a really toxic faculty who really undermined everything I did, was throwing me under the bus. So I would try to implement things within the faculty, within our school. And then I was, having comments like, I just don't feel supported by you anymore. And I was like, well, okay, I'm not the head teacher anymore. That position has been taken away from me. So what can I do to support you? I'm very limited in my support. So that was a bit of a crazy time during COVID, and it probably did. It was all, it wasn't just one thing. I know that if you have left the classroom, or if you're thinking of dabbling into your own business, there's just something inside of you that goes, I just want to make a bigger impact, or I just want to get that time and that flexibility and that freedom back a little bit to support yourself, your time, your energy, and your well-being. So when that was happening for me during COVID, and when we came back from COVID in May, I was like, I don't know if I can keep doing this anymore. And I did for quite a few weeks. People were still throwing me under the bus and undermining what I was doing. And then it all came to a head during a few things that our school was trying to implement. And I think that's part of the issue of why teachers feel so burnt out, because there are so many things that are outside of our control that are, being forced on us. And look, we have to follow the system. Like no matter where you are, if you're in Australia, if you're in New Zealand, if you're in the UK, if you're in America, if you're in, Asia, wherever you are across the globe, you have to, there are systems, there are rules that you have to go with within your teaching. You have to do that. But I think when there are things that are implemented, especially from the top, when there's no real reason for it or no real purpose for it, of course, educators are going to become burnt out. And I think that's, again, part of the issue. Conversations I've had with someone like Gabby Stroud here in Australia is around that demoralisation and having things implemented in our schools that don't really need to happen, or in that way, it becomes really difficult. So anyway, that's kind of a bit of a backstory to that. But after COVID, it was pretty crazy, and I was coming home really stressed, crying because of the pressure I was feeling within myself, but also the pressure that I was feeling from my leader, from my boss, but also the people I was working with. So I don't know if I think I spent, a lot of time wondering what I was going to do, and I didn't have a plan of attack. And if you are feeling like this in your school, I'd really recommend you reach out to someone, get some support, get some help, and have a chat to someone who is there to help you, because it's really important that you do have your say and you do express how you feel if you are feeling like that, because it's not fair for you to feel like that anymore. Anyway, so for me, it was a matter of I went on sick leave for 3.5 weeks, and I had no idea what I was going to do. I sat on our lounge and probably cried my eyes out for about 3 weeks. I literally had no idea. And at that point, I had no intention of going back to school. I love teaching. I'm a really good teacher. I love education. Now I obviously have used my expertise to build a business with, my experience. But back then, I literally had no idea. I thought maybe I could do something on teacher wellbeing, really timely, of course. During COVID, supporting people as we came back in July. But it kind of came towards the end of about week 6 or 7. I thought I can't keep doing this. So I had to go on sick leave. And yeah, I didn't know what I was going to do. But in that time, it provided me a lot of clarity of what I wanted to do next. And I always kind of had these big dreams of, starting my own professional learning business in supporting teachers in our space here in New South Wales, Australia. And so I used that to then go, okay, well, if not teacher wellbeing, I can use something that's literally in my back pocket, to support teachers using my expertise. So obviously, as an educator, I went to school, I went to uni, I then, did education. I was a teacher for 16 years. Of course, I was going to use something in education. And look, all of our skills can be transferred to other industries. There is no doubt about that. I know many of us can transfer our skills, and there are so many things that are up our sleeve, so many things that we're so good at that it does transfer to lots of other occupations and industries. But for me, it was like, well, I have this thing that's in my back pocket. I'm the author of 2 textbooks. I present across New South Wales, our home state, on my area. I'm a go-to person in that anyway. Why not use what's in my back pocket? So that's literally what I did. I used my area of expertise to actually then move into, professional learning business. Fast track 2.5 years, I now have a number of different arms of my business. So I have my online courses, which is where I started with. And if you are thinking about starting somewhere, look, online courses, low-cost offers like PDFs, sharing of resources, physical products, it can look different things. Whatever your area of expertise is really important for you to consider. So for me, it now does look very different to what it started with. And I probably won't go into that today because there are lots of different parts of that. But what I'd really love to share with you this afternoon is a few things around what you can do if you are either daydreaming, and I know many of you are daydreaming about this, and you've reached out to me and said, what if, Kell? Like, what if it looked like this? What if I use my skills to make a bigger impact? And for me, it was about that. I could have got a job on the coast here in New South Wales. I could have used my expertise to work in another school, but I was doing a bit of self-protection, to be honest, because I didn't want to go back into that environment of toxicity and burnout. But I wanted to rise above that. I wanted to make a bigger impact on education using my skills and my expertise. So I'd love to share with you 4 main ideas around what you can do to start to think about this. If you're dabbling, if you've already, maybe you're working a couple of days a week, you've got a foot still in teaching, but also you want to make a bigger impact, and you've started something, maybe a business, or in America they kind of call it a side hustle. Here in Australia, I say side business, or something to supplement your income as a teacher, or to have that balance back. So you could be in that stage. You could also be in the transition stage where you know that you want to leave, or you have actually completely transitioned out of the space. So I want to share with you 4 ideas. The first one is to think about shine bright. So what is something that absolutely lights you up? What do you absolutely love doing in this space of education? For me, it was teaching community and family studies. I absolutely love that course. We teach wellbeing and advocacy and lots of life skills for our kids. So for me, it was like, okay, this lights me up so much. I love this part of my job. Yeah, I've been a 7 to 12 PDHPE teacher here in New South Wales for 16 years, but this particular course, I love it. I'm obsessed. I'm very passionate about it. So it was kind of going with that. So the first thing I'd love for you to do is have a think about what lights you up. What is something that actually lights you up in education? The second thing is to think about what skills are in your back pocket already. So what's in your back pocket already that you could use as a way to make a bigger impact on education? So skills that are in your back pocket, you're already an expert in, you don't have to reinvent the wheel, you don't have to start from scratch. Like for me, if I went from going to be an expert in community and family studies to possibly, running the local cafe or running a sports centre, maybe that might be a little bit more aligned, but it has to be something that's very similar to the skill set that you guys have. So that's the back pocket. Okay, what skills are in your back pocket? The next thing I'd love for you to think about is nailing your niche. So your niche, again, a bit of an American kind of concept. Your niche is your target market or your ideal customer. So maybe like your ideal education customer, IEC. I want you to think about who and what is my target market. So for you guys, who is your target market and what is it? So for me, it was year 11 and 12 community and family studies teachers here in New South Wales. That was my niche and still is my niche until now, actually moving into this space of supporting educators to entrepreneurs. The last one is think about your cheer squad. Think about who is going to support you on this journey. And I feel very blessed that I have my husband's support the whole way through. Daniel was very supportive of whatever I was doing, and he always is very supportive of that. But he said to me, leave. Like after getting shingles the first time, because I got shingles during that time, I should have listened to him years ago, but I stayed there for 2.5 years in that type of frame. And I should have really listened to him. So he was a very big supporter of me, but also other people in education. So people that you can rely on, people that you can bounce ideas around with. For me, back then when I did first leave, I didn't have a very big cheer squad. I had my husband, I had family, but I pretty much had maybe 1 or 2 educators who had done or were doing something similar. So for me, I would love for you guys, once we kind of get to know each other and you get to be part of the community that I'm building now, is for you to feel like there are a whole heap of other group of educators who are in the same space, who are your cheer squad, who are going to be able to listen to you, bounce ideas around with, share your highs and your lows of this journey. So think about at the moment who is in your cheer squad that can support you making this move, this really bold move to either continue dabbling in your business, to transition, or to actually get something off the ground, to go from daydreaming about it to actually making it happen and dreaming it. So let's quickly recap the 4 main things I'd love for you to consider as you go from being really burnt out but not broken. So the first one is to shine bright. So what absolutely lights you up about education? Back pocket. What's in your back pocket? What skills are in your back pocket that you can use straight away? And it won't be like it'll be like a nice smooth transition. And what are you going to do to nail your niche? So who and what is your target market? Who are you going to serve essentially? And your cheer squad, think about your cheer squad and who can you go to for extra support. Now, if this sounds amazing and this framework sounds really good and you'd like more of this, if you haven't seen already, I have started a brand new community of educators to entrepreneurs, and I have a membership starting next year. So I'd love 10 educators to dive in for this term. If you dive in before the end of the year, you get access to a free one-on-one clarity coaching session with me to kind of, really clarify what you're going to do. And maybe you're stuck in an area of your business already, or if you've got something off the ground and you're like, Kell, I'm not making any money from it, I'm actually losing money on this. Can you give me some sort of clarity? So the membership is for 12 months, a 6-month minimum contract, obviously. And then, it is about the community, bringing us together from educators to entrepreneurs who don't want to feel like they're on an island, who want that community, that they want that support, that ongoing support. And that's just the community part of it. But then to have some strategies, some business ideas, some clarity, I literally open my doors to what it really looks like to run an education business. And I feel very blessed to be able to do what I get to do, to have the freedom, to have the flexibility, both financially and physically, freedom to be able to have this amazing business inside what I've been able to build. So obviously some of you guys have your dream. You've actually dreamt about it. Maybe some of you have started to actually create that dream, actually get that momentum happening. And some of you may be in the building stage. So inside community, it is about really working out where you are and where you want to take this, whether you want to still dabble and still work in the classroom or in education, or if you want to go big and to make it, a really big impact on education in a different sense. So please reach out to me if you would like to, if you have any questions about the program, about how it works, about the membership, what it's going to look like. I'm going to put some links in very soon, but you can head over to learnnet.com/membership to check it out. And like I said, if if we have the first 10 educators who join this before the end of the month, will get access to that one-on-one clarity coaching session. So again, thank you so much. I would love to hear what you're working on and how I can support you to get where you are to where you want to be. Okay, thanks team.